Happy Monday, guys, and welcome to WagerTalk TV. This is PuckTime, and we are looking forward to going over a handful of games with you guys here on this live show. Carmine and the Prez joining me here, and we want to mention, guys, that we have all kinds of great deals available at WagerTalk.com. If you guys have not checked the deals page, I feel like people aren't aware of that. I had somebody before the show mentioning to me that they don't know about that page. The deals page is there. Sorry, I had to get that out of the way. Guys, a bunch of great hockey games to get to, though. We're going to have a same-game parlay. We're going to have a pod play of the day, the bankroll builder, and all kinds of good stuff to go over. Carm, I'll bring you in. Someone literally just messaged me about that, so I apologize for bringing that up off the top. But the deals page, people don't realize that if you're always wondering what we have going at WagerTalk and it's what you want for deals and specials, we have a page literally for that for people to go to. And those deals, they're for all of us, right? Not just for one individual capper. So I don't know if you had any comment on that, but people always wondering, what do you have going for 30 days, for 60 days, whatever it might be? This deals page is awesome to look at.
Yeah, and you and I are always coming up with some kind of an idea, whether it's a BOGO or whether it's individual to get multiple sports. So it's always a good one to check out the deals page. Great weekend. Unfortunately, not great weekend, but a good weekend, but not good for the Blue Jays as they go down in Game 7. Heartbreaking loss, I must say, but damn, it was a fun ride, Andrew, the whole way watching this. I don't get too vested in teams. I cheer for them, you know what I mean, like the Leafs and stuff. But ultimately, I'm a fan of the team that I bet on each and every week.
Yes, sir.
It's just like the NFL. I don't like the New England Patriots. I hate them even more now because they were the only NFL game I lost on the weekend. But yeah, the 5% play gets there for me on Saturday. The New York Rangers win it in overtime against the Seattle Kraken. I'm going to talk about the Seattle Kraken at the end of the show. We're going to cover the first three games: Toronto, Pittsburgh, Nashville, Vancouver, and Edmonton, and St. Louis. And then I will do a pod play on it. And we want to speed up this show. So I'm going to bring on the Prez now so he can give us an opinion on all three games. There he is.
How are you, my brother?
The legend, the myth. Prez, neither one of us is a fan of the New England Patriots right now.
Carmine, I mean, listen, I had a bad day yesterday for my clients. My first bad NFL day, really bad NFL. I went 1-4. It was freaking horrible. And I would have had a winning day if the Patriots had covered. That touchdown at the end of the first half really did me in. But we move on, man. Like, you do this 365 days a year your whole life. You're going to have worse days than that. I had an 0-5 Monday, like a month ago. So, and then I followed it up with like 6 winning days in a row. So it is what it is. Yeah, upset about the Blue Jays as well. I'm over it. I get over it pretty quick. I'm over it, honestly. Like by the time I drove home, I was over it. And it was like, thank God it's over. Like, this shit is too time consuming for me. And, you know, I'll tell you, Carm, I thought about it a lot. And what I realized is the LA, you know, there's a luxury tax, right? For when you go over the cap in baseball. Yes. So the way it is working is every team in the league allows the LA Dodgers to pay them so that they can win a trophy every year.
Yeah.
And that's fine by me. It is what it is. Baseball is a ruined sport. I feel worse for the Pittsburgh Pirate fans than anybody else, the Cleveland Indian fans, the soon-to-be Las Vegas Athletics, you know, all of these teams that will never win, and it's fine. The LA Dodgers, you know, the owner obviously has a micro and requires paying people to win the trophy. That's literally what they do. They pay the other owners to allow them to win. And that's not me crying, John Madden. I don't care. I think if I was an owner of the Blue Jays, I'd take the money too. So I'm good with it all. I am good with it. Let's get into some
All right.
hockey.
So Andrew, he makes some good points there, but we're going to move on from obviously from baseball and football to the NHL, where they do not have a luxury tax. They have a salary cap, and they stick to it. But the salary cap is
they have their
slowly
own
going
problems.
Oh,
up, and we are no longer on the air. There we go. We're back. I forgot to mention 6 and 60 goes 4 and 2 on a Saturday.
Nice.
Back to back 4-2s and 6 and 60 to start the season. So we'll keep it going. Well, I want to get right to the schedule tonight. You know, I talked last week about the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we're going to talk about the Leafs and the Penguins now. Leafs minus 173. The Pens are plus 141. Total sits here at 6.5. Right now, the goalies are listed as Stolarz and Jari, and because neither one of these two teams plays tomorrow night on that big schedule of games, we should see these two start the game. You know, I talked last week about looking at the Pens schedule, and I think they've been overachieving. And I get a hard time from some of the Pens fans, but I don't mind. They are overachieving right now. This is a team that will eventually become a seller. And I thought that they had 5 tough games and a very good chance of losing all 5. Well, they started off with a loss in Winnipeg, 5-2. Now they're in Toronto before going home for I think they faced the Washington Capitals or New Jersey Devils, but it's another tough game for them. Prez, I'll go to you first on this one.
Yes,
for
sir.
me, it has to be the Leafs because I think the Pens follow up that loss with another loss. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, conceptually, I'm looking to bet against the Pittsburgh Penguins moving forward, just like you, Carm. This is a team that I don't believe in, but a team that is feeling really good about themselves and a team that has started the season. There's Vivian. Should I take the call on air? Yeah, why not? Vivian, you're live on PuckTime. My wife does not know when I do shows, everybody. Yeah. Every day at 11 a.m. I do the same show, and here she is calling in, bothering us during a show.
I wanted to wish your PuckTime show an incredible.
Okay, goodbye, Vivian. Bye. There you go. Okay. Anyway, look, 8-3-2 to start. Outstanding work by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Perfect time to bet against them, and I like the Leafs here too, Carm, because I actually think that the Leafs are going to be a bet on team moving forward in the sense that, look, it's a new team. Every line on that team is new. Every single one of the 4 lines are new. With Tanev out, the defensive pairings are new. It takes time for these teams to find chemistry. I don't think Toronto is as good as they were last year in the regular season. And I think Toronto has taken a step back. And I think Toronto signed the wrong guy in keeping Matthews and letting Marner go. But none of that has any relevance to tonight's specific bet. I think Toronto played their best game last game against Nashville. And although they were outshot by Nashville, 33-27, those shots were from the outside. Stolarz was able to keep them in front of him. His rebound control was way better. His lateral movement was better. Stolarz has been a disaster so far this season, and we finally saw him have a game with a 900-plus save percentage. I think the Leafs follow that game up with another strong effort tonight because they did lose to Columbus 6-3, so it's not like they've gone on some big long winning streak. That it's been bet down too, Car minus 163. I got no issue betting that on the money line at minus 163. I think Toronto is the play, and I would look to take the under if you needed a total to add to that. 6.5 is a big number, and I think Toronto is going to smother this Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, Andrew, it was okay. Prez, just a little misstep, but it was against the Philadelphia Flyers, not the Nashville Predators. And
oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. But I knew the point you were getting to because the numbers were absolutely correct, right, Andrew? And you look at it, they chased Dan Vladar, who's been absolutely outstanding on home ice. He had allowed 2 goals or less, Andrew, in each of his starts at home, and they chased him after the They scored the fourth goal early in the second period. Can they follow that up with a similar performance here over another Pennsylvania team?
Look, Carmel, I got to give you credit because you called it on our last show together that we did about maybe this is the time this Pittsburgh Penguin team goes on a run. And you know how it always goes, guys? Because I'll be real here. This is a Penguins team, whether it's betting overs, whether it's betting team totals against them, whether it's fading them on the money line. This is the team that's bothered me this season so far. And it hasn't even been a lot of times. It's just been the select times that I've decided to do it, Carm. It hasn't gone well for me. And I'll tell you, the problem is that when a team has bothered you so much, you almost feel like, well,
I get it.
The second I stop betting on them, they're going to start winning. And that's exactly what's about to happen. It's exactly what's about to happen. Like, Carm, you laid out the schedule coming up for this Pittsburgh Penguins team, and it's a very losable schedule for them, right? Starting with Winnipeg, then having the Maple Leafs, looking forward at the next couple games for this team. It's not easy, the rest of this schedule here. So the tough part is, like, I feel like if you lose 5 bets in a row on this backing or fading this Penguins team, and then you just keep doing it, you feel crazy. But now is the time to do it. So especially for people that haven't been going against the Pittsburgh Penguins, now is probably the time to do it. I got to tell you, though, Prez, I agree that that loss of Tanev is huge, man. Like, and it wasn't even like the fact that it's like he got run. It was like what's it called? Incidental contact or accidental contact. So he didn't even have time to like tense up or like embrace for contact. He just kind of got the whiplash. He has concussion history. So this team is good defensively, but I do worry a bit coming into this game how they're going to fare offensively because Pittsburgh's offense has been playing well.
They have, Andrew. That is for sure. I mean, with that said, they only scored 2 against Winnipeg and 2 against Philadelphia. But Toronto was 1-6 on the penalty kill. And what's important there isn't that they were 1-6. What's important there is that they allowed 6 penalties. That's 12 minutes. So they played 12 minutes and still held Philadelphia to 2 goals. Why did Philadelphia outshoot Toronto? 6 power plays for Philadelphia, 3 power plays for Toronto. I expect Toronto to be way more disciplined tonight. The other thing is Rich H writes, be a goldfish. And he's saying that to you in regards to
for sure.
How the hell did we find out that goldfishes have no memory? How? What was the test that we did? Like, I can understand with like a monkey, hand them a banana, see if they know how to open it. Like, what was the goldfish test?
Because they have the smallest brain of any animal. I know you would say differently, but not only that, but just think about it. Why do they tell you to only give goldfish? Why do they tell you to give goldfish only 2 or 3 flakes of food? Because they are unaware after they've eaten. No, they're unaware that they've eaten, so they continue to eat. And they will eventually explode. You can overfeed a goldfish.
Oh my God. Let's do it.
No.
Tomorrow, live on air on Puck Time, we're going to feed a goldfish until it explodes.
Yeah. And then we'll see that our channel's been shut down by PETA.
I want to tell you guys a story about a pet fish that I had, but I literally feel like I would get canceled if I told you like how poorly this fish lived. Is a shame for the world. We
got 3 more games.
I'm going to say here, guys,
2 more games.
This Leafs team defensively has been good, and great points there made by Prez, and their offense has been slowing down for Pittsburgh. Looking at the team totals there, I think that if you think that one team's going to do all the scoring and one team's not, the plus 105 team total under for Pittsburgh is kind of intriguing because maybe they were just having the best shooting percentage. Like, I'm a big shooting percentage guy lately, and you look at it. Like every puck they were shooting at the net was going in every 5 times, it felt like, so maybe going under 2.5 for Pittsburgh. That way it could end a 3-1 game, 4-2 game, whatever it ends for Toronto, hopefully. It doesn't matter. We don't have to worry about the full game going over, full game going under. You just focus in on one team. So we'll look towards that. All right, Pittsburgh Maple Leafs. Next game, Canucks and Predators. Prez, this is the game that everybody wants to talk about, of course. The 2 most exciting teams in the NHL. But I think that this Predators team has actually been kind of at least showing some more promise over their last couple games, despite all the results. But then again, the game that they just won was against the Flames. So my question to you is, how much do you care about that win because it was against the Flames?
Well, Andrew, you got to also look past just they won against the Flames. I mean, they were manhandled by a bad Calgary team. I was on Nashville that game for my clients, and we got lucky. Nashville's put up 24 shots. Calgary put up 35 shots. Now, shots aren't important, but I can tell you one thing. You cannot shoot the puck on another person's net if the puck is not on your stick. It's just physically impossible to do that. So this Nashville team is bad, and I mean really bad, and they're old, and they're slow, and they just can't figure out a way to make consistent offense. You go down, they put 4 up against Calgary. 1 was an empty netter, so that's 3. Before that, they put 1 up on Philadelphia, 2 up on Tampa Bay, 2 up on Dallas. This team has scored 4-1-2-2-5-2-2-1-2. They are horrible. And I like Vancouver here, but Vancouver is so badly injured right now. The play for me is not to overthink this and take the under. I think Vancouver has no choice but to try have these games go under. They were only put up 2 goals against Minnesota, 0 against the New York Rangers. And I think we got to look to bet Nashville unders all the way through. I understand it's 5.5. That's keeping it from a client play, but the under is the only way to go for me here.
Okay, no, I get that. These two teams played. They've already played once this season here in Nashville.
2-1.
With Nashville winning 2-1. Shots on goal, if you're keeping count, were 35-22 in that game for the Preds, and the XG was pretty much the same in all situations for these two teams. Now, Vancouver doesn't play tomorrow, so it should be Demko in goal tonight. Nashville is showing Saros right now. They play tomorrow in Minnesota, so Annunen likely gets that start. You would think you start Demko at home against Vancouver and you start Annunen in Minnesota, but we'll see what they do once those are confirmed. But I like Nashville in this spot. I'm not sure if I like it enough to make it a client play, but I do like Nashville enough in this spot. I mentioned that game that the Preds played in Philadelphia, where they looked very good. Half the game they had Philly on their heels, and then Philly kind of woke up in the final 30 minutes. And I thought if they can replicate that 30 minutes over 60 minutes next time out against Calgary, that they would win. And they did, but in that third period, they did make it a little shaky. They allowed Calgary to come back into that game before putting it away. I just think right now Vancouver's not scoring goals. It's going to be even tougher to score them if it's Saros in goal. Nashville gets a win. Sometimes those confidence-building wins, no matter who they're against, gets you winning a couple more games. Or you beat up on teams that are missing players and hurt. Garland, I don't think, is playing tonight. I believe he's out. So, with that said, I think it's a buy low price on Nashville. Maybe you can call it a fishy line. I don't call it a fishy line just because of the two teams that are playing right now and they're not playing their best hockey. You can't price this any higher on Nashville. So I'll take the -120, Andrew.
Yeah, Carm, I don't blame you. And I think that this is the type of game that they show up in. This is the type of game that they can, take down an opponent that maybe they can catch sleeping, because I don't think this is a team right now in Vancouver that's really producing much offensively. But when I look at this game, there's really one thing that I'm looking at, and that's
team
player
total.
props. I think player props. Jonathan Marchessault over 2.5 shots on goal, -110. 4 of his last 5 home games he's hit this. 3 of his last 4 games overall. That one's kind of tempting. Shot attempts 8, 5, 6, 6, 4, 6, 6, 7. He's getting the shot attempts. And for me, when I looked at player props shots, it's all about the attempts and the consistent volume. For me, when I'm betting those, because you don't want to rely on a guy that's only getting one more attempt per game than you need for his shots on goal. It's just you get one block shot and all of a sudden you're screwed. Prez, you talked about Calgary. You talked about Nashville as well. I mentioned in the last segment about shooting percentages. Calgary, 3.3% with their shooting percentage. And Nashville, they're not that much better, 3.81. So Calgary, although they had that many shots in the game you were talking about, right now, Calgary could have 50 shots and they don't really matter. So that's what's crazy about this Calgary team is,
so
I
mean, I listen, I'm involved in a lot of Calgary Flame games, and they're getting no traffic to the net. I mean, almost zero traffic to the net. The shots are from the outside. There's nobody going to the net. And there's a reason Dale Anderchuk is the top 6 goal scorer of all time and had no skill. Go to the freaking net. And that's
they lack grit. They lack grit.
Yeah. I think Calgary is the worst team in hockey with the worst trajectory.
Exactly.
San
That's the worst
Jose
part. They have nowhere they're going.
San Jose has a future. Right?
Yeah.
And Macklin is incredible. Calgary
I got to tell you guys, I'm one of the biggest Crosby fans there is. Celebrini's start to his career is reminding me a lot of Sidney Crosby. Okay. Just the way he plays and how he is. This kid is good. I think he might be better than Connor Bedard, but that's not for this discussion.
Connor is coming into his own. I got 5 minutes. Can we?
Edmonton and St. Louis.
I got to take the best betting show.
Your thoughts, Prez, on the Oilers overall this season and this matchup against the Blues?
Yeah,
minus 143, minus 143 for the Oilers, plus 118 for St. Louis. Total sits here at 6. Binnington for the Blues, and it looks like Skinner right now for Edmonton, although they do play tomorrow in Dallas, so it could be Picard in net tonight. So check those if you're worried about who's going to start for the Oilers. Check those later on.
I like the over here, guys. 39 shots for St. Louis in their last 2 games. That is an incredible amount of shooting. They only came away with 5 goals over that time span. But this St. Louis team has not been held to under 2 goals in 6 straight games, and they're scoring. And they cannot play any defense. They allowed Columbus 3, Vancouver 4, Detroit 5, Pittsburgh and Detroit 6-6, Utah 7. There's just no reason to overthink this play. You got a St. Louis team that is shooting the puck. They're getting goals. You got a St. Louis team that cannot play defense. You got an Edmonton team that is dying for a huge breakout game, like one of those 6-goal games that they had on Utah. And this team is also, Edmonton also struggling to keep the puck out of the net. I think this is a no-brainer over. One of my favorite plays.
All right.
All right, Prez, what do you got to promote? What's going on this week for you? Any Monday Night Football action for you?
You know, yes, I have Monday Night Football action, and my NHL is back rolling. It's not fully rolling. I mean, I'm going 1-1 every day, but I'm winning my 3% play and losing my 2% play. So I am winning every day. I think 7 out of 8 or 6 out of 7. I'm on an 8-1 run in my 3% NHL plays, but let's put all of that aside. And everybody knows me for NHL and NFL. What they don't know is I'm one of the best NBA bettors on the planet the last 3 years. And why I say the last 3 years, because I do not handicap my games alone. I have a team of guys that work with me across all sports. And I spent 2 years readjusting my NBA team. And 3 years ago, I found the right combination. And we are up over 100 units of profit in the NBA over the last 3 years. We have not had a losing NBA season in 3 years. And we've started this NBA season up, and we're on a 6-1 run. So don't sleep on my NBA, guys. I got 1 NBA play up tonight. I got 2 NHL plays up. I'm sure you can figure them out. And I got 1 NFL play. Lots of love to all of you PuckTime guys. Thank you for showing your support to Carm and Andrew. And Andrew and Carm, thank you for having me, man. I love doing this with you guys. It is such a pleasure. Go Dodgers, go.
Love talking hockey, Brad. Take care, man.
All right, take care, buddy.
You got.
All right, Andrew. So
Now that he's
I didn't get
gone,
your
Carm,
thoughts.
let's just restart the show. We'll go through all the
Yeah.
games again, and we'll.
Yeah, that was a
No, we're
commercial for the Prez, and now we're back to our
commercial
regularly
break.
scheduled program here at WagerTalk TV. And if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. Join the ever-growing community here at WagerTalk, and hit that like button. Let us know you like the content, and then drop a comment in the comment section after the video is posted. If you're watching this a little later on, those are always good for analytics and good for Andrew and I. Andrew, I just, you get into a routine sometimes, and it's not a routine, but you get into a mind frame where you're like, at what point are the St. Louis Blues going to play like the St. Louis Blues of the second half of last season? And then, because they've lost 6 of 7 games at home, and this is a team that had won like 16 in a row or something like that on home ice through the playoffs before they were eliminated. And you have to start to wonder and rethink, were they just did they just catch lightning in a bottle in the last 2 weeks of the season and the first round of the playoffs where they couldn't lose on home ice? Because losing 6 of 7, I don't feel good about wanting to take the St. Louis Blues against a team that can score some goals in the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, Carm, the problem with this Blues team hasn't even as much been their offense, as you mentioned, and you keep phrasing it like I can tell what you're getting to. The Blues aren't playing Blues hockey, and they definitely aren't playing Jim Montgomery hockey. That's what's kind of weird. And I'll tell you what, this 1-for-1 trade, Zach Bolduc for Logan Mailloux, has not exactly been the best trade the Blues have ever made. And we had Habs Relic talking about it. In the chat. Obviously, he's a Habs fan like me. And this Mailloux has had one of the worst starts as a defenseman that we've seen in years. Like, his game scores are down every single night. And when you look at this, Philip Broberg, Colton Parayko, Cam Fowler, Justin Falk, Tyler Tucker, and Logan Mailloux. Look, Parayko is good. All right. He's a national team member for Team Canada. Cam Fowler has had his ups and downs, but he's been great over his career. But he's kind of more known as an offensive defenseman, isn't he? Like, over the last little while, this defense is really hurting, Carm, for this St. Louis Blues team. I think more than anything, they need to start playing in low-scoring games. But to your point, when you have a team like the Edmonton Oilers come to town, it's shocking. I'm a little bit confused why this number is what it is, though. Minus 155 was the opener, and minus 136 is the current price at Penny. So maybe because of that, Carm, to your point, we're seeing Pickard. We'll see if we end up seeing Pickard or not. I don't see any goalie confirmations quite yet in that one. But if that's the case, it's hard to argue with what Prez said about this being one of his favorite bets with the over. But I'm going to go with the first period over 1.5 goals here. Edmonton, St. Louis. Start off with a bang. St. Louis needs to bounce back. They need to get things going at home. But Edmonton loves feasting off teams like the Blues. And I've been talking a lot of analytics lately. Goals differential above expected. This is kind of a cool one to look at, Carm, because, with these stats, you kind of got to find teams that we should be fading and teams that maybe we could eventually start backing. The Blues are the worst team in the entire league in goals differential above expected. So to your point, they're not supposed to be this bad. Whether it's goaltending, whether it's defense, something is causing this team to play poorly in their own end. Like, they're minus 14.57 goals differential above expected. The best team in the league, Columbus, plus 11 goals differential above expected. So that's what makes the biggest difference. And look at a team like Chicago with some goal scorers. They're plus 9.58. So right now, this St. Louis Blues team, they don't have their goal scorers scoring, and their defense is letting them down. I think we're going to see goals early on. Wouldn't talk anybody out of looking at Edmonton first period either. But this Blues team has been a disaster. And Carm, I wonder, and this is just me talking out loud, do you think, or thinking out loud, do we see a similar thing with Pittsburgh, except for in the role reversed? That once St. Louis gets a few wins, do we start backing them? Because maybe they've deserved better.
Yeah, they deserve better, but their defensive play and their goaltending has to obviously has to be better. But I'm a big fan of if the price is right and the situation is right, when a good team snaps a losing streak that I want to sort of double up on them and come back with them. If it's, obviously it has to be the right spot. You don't want to just overpay based on how you feel about it, a team. I think taking the worst number isn't the best thing. The Blues have allowed 51 goals this season, which is worst in the NHL, tied with the Ottawa Senators. This is a Blues team that we always figure, and the Oilers, better. They've allowed 41 goals. They've only scored 41, so the negative or an even goal differential. But the difference is the Edmonton Oilers have scored some more goals in games, and that's why they're in a playoff spot. And the St. Louis Blues are second from the bottom. Do I expect the Blues to remain there? No, because this time last year, we were talking about or the year previous, we were talking about the Edmonton Oilers and being bottom of the Western Conference. And then, of course, a coaching change completely changed that with the Edmonton Oilers, and they went on a tremendous run. I don't know if we're going to get a big run here. I don't know if the Blues continue to lose, whether we see a coaching change for them as well, too. I'm not sure who you can move in there. I'm sure you have some names, Andrew. I don't. But it's just, I get it. The Blues, a dog at home, plus 118 just isn't enough for me. I think until they start scoring some goals and show me something, it's hard to take a team that's lost 6 of 7 on the home ice and say they're due. The due factor is not a betting angle.
No, of course.
No, it is not.
Got to see the wins come in for a little while first.
The martingale is not a betting angle. You know what I mean? None of these are betting angles. They are just ones that eventually will absolutely destroy your bankroll. So with that said, I'd probably take the Oilers here. Wait to see if any St. Louis Blues money comes in. And if it doesn't, try and find the lowest price I can get on the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes we do care about movement and such, but at the end of the day, right now, we're not seeing anything that the St. Louis Blues are showing us that's going to, indicate the turning things around whatsoever. So, Carm, I've told you, I had a great start to the NHL season, and I gave away a lot of the profit by fading these teams and trying to be a contrarian too much. And you look at some of these teams right now that are playing poorly, until they show you otherwise, we'll keep going against them. So we'll see. I think this is a poor matchup. Very curious to see. We always say, too, the better team just dictates the total, right? So St. Louis is going to probably do everything they can to make this an under. I just don't know if they're able to do it. So would be interested in looking at some probable player props and stuff like that for Edmonton. I got a same game parlay coming up. Is it cool with you if we go to the bankroll builder first?
Yeah, I just want to touch on it, and let me see if I can just bring it up on the screen here.
Okay.
As far as like the totals go, real quickly, Andrew, not on the screen, on my screen here, so I'm not sharing it. But what you think about the Oilers, and you always envision the Oilers are going to pot some goals. They're playing the St. Louis Blues, but the Oilers are only 2-4-1 to the over on the road, which is not a good record. If you bet Oilers overs on the road, you're not really making money. You're down a little over a couple units early in the season. So, and if you look at the Blues, let me bring up the Blues. The Blues are like 4-3, up half a unit. There's just not enough data 10 games in as far as whether it's a money maker or a money loser to want to take the over or under in this game. I always revert back to, how do you get out of a losing streak? You get out of a losing streak by playing defense first and trying to minimize the chances, the high danger chances, the shots on goal, the rebounds in front of the net, keep all shots to the exterior. And if your goalie can't stop shots from the left and right faceoff circles in your own defensive zone, then he shouldn't be between the pipes. It goes back to defense. You can't take penalties because the Edmonton Oilers, eventually this power play is going to start clicking at a better number than it is right now. So for those that are looking at the total, I would just stay off of it. The 6 is just one of those numbers that easily ends in a push with those 3-2 games with an empty netter that ends up 4-2. So No total for me in this one, Andrew. With that said, I'm going to talk about a total now, and it's the pod play. So the pod play won with Colorado on Nevada Day, minus 115. So the bankroll currently sits at 53.32. I'm going to take the over in this game, over 5.5, Seattle Kraken and the Chicago Blackhawks. It looks like it's going to be Spencer Knight versus Joey Decord. You look at the Kraken, and they come off of probably one of their worst offensive performances on home ice, and maybe it's because the New York Rangers are starting to put it together defensively. They only had 10 shots on goal through about 55 minutes of that game. They got another shot and a couple in OT. They finished with 13 shots on goal. This is a team that averages, where are we here? 24 shots on goal, 11 below their average. And shots on goal is just it's just a metric, but it doesn't mean that if you get a ton of shots on goal, you're going to score goals. This is one of those games where it just feels like a get well spot for Seattle, but the Blackhawks can score some goals. I think if this was 6, I'm off of it. At 5.5, I don't mind laying the VIG up until 130. I'm using 130, even though there's some 120s and 125s out there. I'm using 130. That's the play. It's going to be 200 to win 154 as your bankroll play.
That one, because when you look at this Seattle team, I think that this is a team that they can find their offense against. Like, this is a team that they can probably, like, I think overall the Seattle Kraken are a better team than people give them credit for, but they're just not that flashy. But against a team like this, I feel like they're going to be able to find their offense against. I got a parlay here, a same game parlay, and it's kind of interesting because I have 2 games, and I have 2 players on each team to get a point. One of them is plus 405. One of them is plus 120. Now, we got to hit one of these here, guys, and we got to get hot here with the same game parlays. So I'm going to start doing these every single day. But here, Carm, here it is. Oh, no, wait. There we go. 2 shots plus the graphic. There we go. We got Jack Roslovic, and yes, we're going back to Mangiapane. We're going back to Mangiapane with the Edmonton Oilers. What do these 2 players have in common for the Edmonton Oilers? Both of these players are playing with Connor McDavid. Both these players are going to be out there. They're going to get power play time as well. That's intriguing for me when I look at it, because, you've got a guy that's going to get power play time, and you've got a guy that's going to be out there with Connor McDavid. It's important. And I think that, Mangiapane out there with McDavid and Draisaitl plays with Roslovic, you're pretty much taking players that are getting good odds on lines with really, really good players, right? So McDavid's the top line guy, but there's really horrible odds on McDavid. So who has good odds next to him? Well, Mangiapane. Second line is Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Roslovic. So I go to my right, take Roslovic to get a point. I think if he's playing with Draisaitl, he's playing a lot better lately. He could definitely get on the board. The next one, a little bit more simple. These 2 guys are on the same line, Connor Bedard and Andre Burakovsky. Carm, I like over 5.5 in Seattle and Chicago. You like some goals in that one as well. Hopefully we get points from Bedard and Burakovsky together. This is 10 to 1. All right. Like plus 1,000 close to it here with this one, strictly because of that Roslovic prop, but he's playing with a guy like Leon Draisaitl. I think he can definitely get there. So every day we're doing these guys, we're picking a couple players from each game. And I feel like, I'll tell you what, some of these same game parlays, Carm, all you need to do is take a power play guy and who's going to pass to him on the power play. Some of these power plays are so lethal. And our guy, NHL All-Star Bets, brings it up right here. Demidov, Suzuki, Hudson, Caulfield. I mean, these guys, look, I know I'm a fan of the team, but right now they're a pretty good same game parlay team. And I'll tell you, a team like the Maple Leafs, they're a same game parlay team because Matthews, Nyes, you know what you're going to get with some of those teams. A team like Chicago, you know what you're going to get. Edmonton, you know what you're going to get. A team like Seattle, Carm, I like the over as well, but I don't really know as much what I'm going to get from them. They could have some more mystery goal scorers every game.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. Sometimes those and the teams are clicking on power plays. You take a couple of their guys to take points, and you can hit it all on one power play. Joey Neri and I were doing that during Tampa Bay's Stanley Cup runs because the power play points were for guys like Kucherov and Hedman and Stamkos at the time. They were all plus money. And it makes sense that they should be plus money because if you don't get a power play, then you have no chance of hitting that bet. But if you do get a power play, they were pretty much going to make you pay for it. As far as the guys' comment, and I get it, the Montreal Canadiens winning the Stanley Cup soon. I'm not sure what's in the water up there in Quebec. I don't know if you guys are drinking too much of that Perrier crap and whatever, but just some Italian filtered water is San Pellegrino or what have you, and you'll start to think straight. I don't see the Montreal Canadiens winning the Stanley Cup in the next couple of years, but I do see them making the playoffs and putting some fear in some teams. Andrew, I honestly think that when you're watching the Montreal Canadian games, when they go to overtime, before they go to overtime, bet Cole Caulfield to score a goal. The guy's got 4 overtime or 5 overtime goals. It just seems like, okay, the Habs won in OT, and then I'm like, okay, it must have been Cole Caulfield because he
broke the record already for the most OT goals for a Montreal Canadian player, and he's like 24 years old, 25 years old. He's going to play for the team for the next 10 years or more, hopefully. So
I like the way they're playing. They're playing spirited hockey. They were part of the 1660 for the first period money line against the Ottawa Senators in that game, and they held the lead after the first period of that one. So we'll see how we're going. Let's try and get this pod play as a winner, and let's try and keep the 6-60 on Fridays going. 4-2 back-to-back pods. So we will see, or 4-2 back-to-back 6-60s. Andrew, I'll go first. Right now, the only thing I have up, and it's for NHL clients, is one play on the card tonight. There's no package loaded. I am going to load NFL and include the NHL in it. So I'll just call it an all sports package. You got NHL and NFL tonight, along with, I think there is one MLS soccer game that will be up. It's the knockout stages of that tournament. And tomorrow is going to be a big day for me. I absolutely love a couple NHL games, and it's Champions League soccer Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm going to have plays up right after the show for you guys all. You can find me over at wt.buzz/CB. That's it for me, Andrew. Let us know what you have up at WagerTalk and take us home.
Yeah, look, looking to bounce back in hockey, guys. Been a tough little while here, but we've really been seeing, I think, the board well with the totals. So I'm going to stick with the totals. We'll avoid the sides for now. Team totals and totals will be the bread butter for me. So one team total play for me up and available for today at wagertalk.com. Also, it was a 19-6 run in NFL. We dropped one on Thursday night last Thursday. So one player prop, one play for the entire week goes tonight in the NFL. 19-7 player prop was cash this ticket. And hopefully we can have a easy, smooth 2-0 night. NFL and NHL. Guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy all the games tonight. Make sure you follow Carmine at Carmine Bianco WT, myself at McInnis Picks. We're always tweeting out information and bets in the NHL and NFL. Best of luck. We'll see you guys next time right here on Puck Time.